functioning? I think it's functioning. Of course, whenever I start one of these lives, it always says, "Yeah, I'm working," and then when I go back and look later, it like starts with me in the middle of a sentence because it doesn't actually start when it says. But all right, it's got to be started by now. And I remember last week I was having all kinds of glitchiness with this app, trying to see my comments. Looks like it's working right now. Here early. Oh, Tomaters, you're here early? That's weird. Need to subscribe to Jaimie Talks channel. Oh yes, so I'm gonna get into that. Classic Dude Mike is not wearing pants. I am actually wearing not pants but shorts today. I have often made videos where I'm like, oh, I have something to say, but I'm totally naked, so I'll put a shirt on and make a video and just make sure it's just my head. But I'm just like, I don't care. I'm at home. I can be naked all I want. I can be naked all I want, man. Just like the animals. First sub to a channel with zero content. We're all waiting for the big J. Okay. I hear you. We are live. Nala Sola says hi. Hope you're doing well. Hi from Sweden. Jaimie, how's it going today? Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm under the third degree here. Or was that? Yeah, the third degree, not the fifth degree. It's the Fifth Amendment. The third degree? I don't know. Well, I usually kind of stall for like 2 minutes to let people come, but it looks like people were actually already here. So, and now it's like almost 2 minutes anyway. So I guess I'll stop rambling and tell you what's going on. Let me just check these last couple comments. How's it going? Love your channel. All right. Been watching since your giant spider robot and toy design. Cool. Hi from Indiana. Okay. Oh, hi from the Netherlands. I used to have a really good friend from the Netherlands. I enjoyed her a lot, actually. Anyway. Okay, what was I going to talk about today? First, anyone here probably knows that, Deshana and I have been having some difficulties. It's been a difficult month, but it looks like we've got things worked out to where she can live her life and I can live my life and we can still collaborate with kids. And it looks like everything's going to be fine. But man, for a while there, I was not sure it was going to come out all right. And yeah, it's just stressful and now I have a infection on my foot, which I'm pretty sure is just because of all the stress. Last time I got any kind of like skin infections like this, I was just way too much stress, and the exact same thing happened, and I didn't stop getting them until the stress stopped, and then they slowly went away, and then it was fine for like years. And just the last month has been super stressful. Here, I can show you my foot, but it's just wrapped up. Anyway, look, it's kind of fat. My foot is not normally fat like that, but I have an infection here. Yeah, just totally from stress, but it looks like, I'm feeling much better, much less unnecessarily stressed with stupid problems. So I think everything's gonna be fine there. And now I just need to, get myself together. Yeah, I know it looks bad. It's not that bad. Okay, part of the problem is, I'm so lean that anytime I get swelling, it shows up a lot. Like, I remember when I got my wisdom teeth out, my older sister, who has kind of chubby cheeks, she got her wisdom teeth out, and you could barely tell her face was swollen because she already had chubby cheeks. But then I'm very lean. So when my thing was all swollen, it was like, yeah, you could tell. Anyway, anytime I get any swelling, you notice a lot when I get swelling. It's very, very noticeable when I get swelling. I'm trying to figure out how to say this without innuendos, but, well, there you go. But yeah, my foot is basically skin and bone, so if it swells up, it just looks like a sausage, marshmallow. Anyway, last time I was getting things like this, at the point when I got this super stressful situation under control, it pretty immediately, fixed. I mean, not immediately, but like, over the next couple weeks, everything just disappeared, and then I was fine. So I think that infection's going to disappear and everything will be fine, and I'm good because all that stress is going away. Okay, what else is going on? Sausage foot. Yes, I do have sausage foot. Oh, hello from Mexico. Lots of vascular tissue to fill up with blood. Haha, yes. Apparently I've got a lot of vascular tissue to fill with blood. All right, what are we doing here? Okay, I wrote down a little list of things to talk about here. Okay, so basically Deshana and we've got that basically worked out. Thank freaking God. Oh my God, that was just so stressful. And yeah, she and I are both relieved that, and we were planning to make a video together, just like a 30-second or 1-minute thing, just everything's good, going forward. Not getting into any details because part of our agreement was that we're not going to discuss our family with other people. So anyway, so that's fine. And because now I feel like I can just like let go of all this stuff that I was having to deal with before. Now that a lot of stuff is off my plate, I think I was talking about this last week, where I feel now like 2/3 of my plate is empty because there's all this stuff that I don't have to pay attention to or worry about anymore. I don't have to deal with it anymore. So now I feel like I can really get going on my own stuff, get my own life through. Not that it's been going terrible or anything, but I think I can really crank it up now. So I'm making a whole bunch of, maybe not a whole bunch of changes. A lot of the changes are just kind of increased productivity and just being more efficient and productive and making plans that I know I can stick to now and stuff like that. But one thing I'm doing is I decided to split my channel into 2 pieces. So I've had the same YouTube channel like almost since YouTube started. Like I've had it a long time. And I just had one channel, and anyone who watches my stuff could probably pretty easily divide my stuff into like two categories, maybe more, but there's 2 main things, like I build stuff and I talk about stuff. So I'm dividing my channel into Jaimie Builds, which is this one, and then the other channel is going to be Jaimie Talks, which is my other one. So next week I was thinking about actually doing starting a live here and just telling everyone to go there for the rest of the live, but I'm just going to try to do the next live next week on my talk channel. So yes, Elvis Pelvis, link in the description. So yeah, now presuming I did this right, but it looks like someone just said the link is in the description, so I think I did it right. If you look in the description here, there's a link. There's a link to this channel, which is Jaimie Builds, which you don't need because you're already here. And then there's also a link to Jaimie Talks, which is my other channel, which currently has nothing on it. I just set it up yesterday, and I can't even do a live on it yet because I had to request the ability to do a live, and then it takes 24 hours. So I could do a live on that channel tomorrow, but presumably next week I'll be able to do lives on that channel, and maybe next week I'll start the live here and just let anyone know who doesn't know, and then I'll just do like a 2-minute thing here and then just say, okay, I'm going over there and start doing all my talking on the other channel. So all the philosophical mumbo jumbo and any sort of political whatever, or complaining about how the world is screwed up and my stupid ideas of how to make it better and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be on Jaimie Talks from now on. I think for pretty obvious reasons. And then no one ever again has to say, Jaimie, I don't come here to listen to you. I just want to see you build stuff. So just shut up and go build stuff. Just do what I want. Yeah, I don't listen to that anymore. So that'll be nice. And I do think it also will be, convenient for other people too, because you'll know what's coming. And I actually tried to do this a few years ago, but at the time you had to sign up a whole new login and everything to do a separate channel. Like you couldn't just like have 2 channels under the same login and stuff. It was super annoying. You had to do 2 separate things, and I was like, oh my God, every time I want to put a video on one thing or the other thing, I'm gonna have to log out and then log back into the other one. Forget it. But now it's actually pretty simple. There was kind of an annoying level of like, password and then verification and all this garbage. But now I can just click a button and switch between the two channels. So I apologize if at some point I accidentally stick a building video on the talk thing or a talking video on the build thing, but I'll do my best to keep them in the right places. And if I screw it up, just say, hey, Jaimie, fix it. And I'll take the video down on the wrong one and put it up on the right one. Probably, I don't know. I might just not care, but we'll see. Oh, and here's my special sign that I made. This is a very important sign because yesterday, I think, I went outside to do something and I left my 12-year-old in charge of everything, which is not an unusual thing. And I told her, you're the mega boss, so you take care of stuff. And she said, I'm not the mega boss. So I made her a sign and everything saying that she is the mega boss, which she refused to wear, but she tried to make me wear it when I got back. She's like, no, you're the mega boss. You wear the mega boss sign. So maybe I should just wear the mega boss. And now, now mega boss has become sort of a running joke in the last 24 hours. It's extra funny when my 2-year-old runs around yelling, I'm the mega boss. Oh, it's so adorable. You may have noticed my fancy shirt. Have I shown this fancy shirt yet? This is my fanciest adventure builder shirt ever because it's a hospital shirt. It used to be a long sleeve shirt and I would wear it whenever I was going out in bugs or out in the sun and I don't want to get sunburnt or whatever. I had a long sleeve shirt and I would wear it for that. And I wore this shirt a lot. Obviously, it's in pretty rough shape. This is also the shirt I was wearing 2 weeks. I don't know. Whenever I was moving all that sheet metal and the pipes and everything and cut the crap out of my arm. Oh yeah, I should tell you how that's going. Yeah, it's fine. It's got a scab now. Just when I took the stitches out myself. I don't remember if I said that last week. I don't remember when I've lost track of time. Sorry. Anyway, I took the stitches out myself. And when I took the stitches out, the thing just like opened up, but it was like healing all around there. But now it's like filling with scab and like pulling itself closed again with all the scab. So yeah, I think it's totally fine. There's actually 2 pieces of it. There. And that's the big one. This is the one that was squirting blood. Hit the doctor. So yeah, that's fine. Oh, but when I went to the hospital, I was wearing my long sleeve shirt and I was filthy and I was just like, oh, I just want to go have a shower, but I better just go to the hospital. And I was just like blood everywhere. Like my shorts were covered in blood. One of my legs was like half covered in blood and my whole arm. Anyway, so when I was at the hospital, instead of trying to get my shirt off, they just cut off the sleeve so they could get to this more easily. And it wasn't the kind of sleeve that you could roll up far enough to be convenient for the guy to do stitches and all that. So yeah, he cut off my sleeve. Really jagged too. Man, it looks like it just was cut off by some, I don't know, some armadillo who didn't know how to use scissors. And then when I was done with the hospital, I was on my way out of there and I was like, I just feel silly now with one long sleeve and one no sleeve. So I went to some nice lady and I said, ¿Es posible por corto mi otra? Porque sí? And she's like, that's just my crappy Spanish. But she understood what I was saying. And she's like, okay. And then she cut this one so straight and like perfect. And now it still seems a little ridiculous. Maybe I should cut this one all jagged. Except then it wouldn't be a genuine hospital shirt anymore. So I think I have to leave it as is, as a genuine hospital shirt. So yeah, I almost died wearing this. And I lost both my, ooh yeah, check it out. Got some muscles. Oh, I gotta get some more of those. Okay, I gotta work on those. I haven't done enough exercise in the last week because, this arm thing and then this freaking foot thing. But I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's my hospital shirt. All right, what else am I talking about here? I've got a whole list of something. Oh yeah, no, this is my list of stuff to talk about. This is my list of projects I have on the go. You want to hear my list of things I'm working on? Oh. Lumber mill, cargo boat, which is the shark slicer. Spackle inside. There's still some spackling to do inside. Metal. Oh! This is so exciting. I can cross this off because I went and got the metal. The metal is here. Metal, the pipes, and I should probably draw some blood all over this because it cut the crap out of me and almost died. But yeah, I got the metal. Oh, nice. I should probably talk about that. Dude, what was that? Sorry for going off topic, but I just want to let you know that I think you are amazing. Just look at all you have created and made in just a few years. Well, thank you, Mr. Carlson. That makes me feel good. And I gotta admit, over the last month, when I've been having a lot of significant difficulties, and it's been kind of horrible most of the time, but I'm good now. I think it's fine. But man, when I was at my most horrible, I got a lot of emails from you guys, and you're gonna make me tear up here. Okay, yeah, I got a lot of emails from you guys saying that just I've inspired people over the years, and really helped them with just, I don't know, it was just really, really positive encouragement, and I gotta say thank you, because that was when I was at my darkest and my lowest. You guys helped prop me up, so thank you so much to everyone who did that. Oh, I gotta wipe my eyes now. Okay, back to very serious manly stuff here. Oh yeah, so the metal, I can cross that off. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, guest house. Yeah, that's in the works. Garden. Gardening is like a perpetual thing. Plant food and make soil and all that. Upper floors. So I have to still make the second and third floor, which has to do with the lumber mill, which was number 1 on the list here. Not that these are in any particular order. Me. I actually put me on my list. I don't usually put myself on my list. Me. Eat good. Have good posture. Exercise. Take care of stuff. Take care of myself. Take care of myself. That's good that I'm putting that on there, because I need to make sure I take care of myself. All right, roof tiles. I haven't gone up to the roof in a while because, as I said last week, I have not been feeling up to going on the roof. I've tried not to put myself in any dangerous situations lately because I'm not being careful enough, because I have not been caring about living, because things have been so my survival instinct has been lowered. But now it's coming back. Now now I care if I die or not or anything. I want to live and do all the stuff. So I'm being careful again. Anyway, and then there's just a bunch of stuff. So what did I want to talk about in my talk about stuff list? That's on the back of the Mega Mouse. Okay, talked about that. Yeah, me and Deshane are fine. Now I'm switching to 2 channels, so anyone who missed it, this channel here is now Jaimie Builds, except I'm talking right now because I'm going through a transition, but I'm going to start doing all the lives on Jaimie Talks, and the link to Jaimie Talks channel is in the description here. And Jaimie Talks currently has nothing on it because I just set it up like last night, but I'm going to start doing all my talking videos, lessons, philosophy, just any talking stuff, and I'll start doing these lives there next week. Metal. What was I? Oh yeah. So my last video, I picked up all that metal. So if you may remember, a few weeks ago, someone in here, a few people were like, "Hey Jaimie, you've got some Bitcoin, dude." So I went and I was like, "Whoa, I've got some Bitcoin," and I was like, "You know what? I should do something with some of that. Not just sit on it. Actually use it for something." Well, there's a few different things. One, I wanted to get something that would be useful for making more cool videos. So now I have all this sheet metal and all these pipes, and it's all aluminum, and stainless steel. Stuff I can actually build useful things here in a saltwater environment, and I can make videos about that. So whoever sent me some Bitcoin, I don't even know who it was, but thank you super much. And all that metal that you're going to be seeing is from you, so thank you. And yeah, I cut the crap out of my arm unloading it and went to the hospital. Didn't die. There were a few other questions about the metal. Oh yeah, someone asked about getting all that material in that boat. So when I went to get the metal, Well, first I had to orchestrate this thing where the delivery guys from the store, Carbone, it's Carbone in Panama City, which is at the other end of the country. So they go out on deliveries, and these guys will go out for like a whole week. They do deliveries in Panama City, but then when they deliver outside of Panama City, they just get in a truck full of all the stuff, and they just drive for a whole week all over the country delivering stuff. So I had to arrange to meet them at a dock. And so I had to rent a boat here because I don't have maybe the shark slicer may have been able to handle it, but it's not ready anyway. That's the cargo boat I'm renovating right now, putting the pedals on. I'll get into my renovations in a minute. But I rented a boat from a guy who's nearby, and I had to plan that and tell him I'm not totally sure when, but anyway, we got it all worked out. I rented the boat from him and a driver, and we took this huge cayuco, which is just like a dugout canoe, but it's definitely more than 4 feet wide. It's almost 5 feet wide. I think in the video I said it's like 5 or 6 feet wide. It's about 5 feet wide. And I'm not sure how long it is, maybe 50, 60 feet long. Like, these are pretty big boats. And it was totally not a problem fitting that much material. It was like 200 pipes of various kinds, and then about 100 sheets of either aluminum, or stainless steel. And they fit in that boat, no problem. And I asked the guy, I was like, this is nothing for this boat, right? And he's like, this is nothing. We put like 5 times that much weight when we go get rocks and sand or whatever. So yeah, fitting all that stuff in the boat was no problem. Someone also asked a weird question, and I've been reading a little bit of comments on my videos. I don't know, maybe I'll start doing that more regularly again, now that I'm just feeling more like I can be a Jaimie. I feel more like a Jaimie now, But anyway, someone asked a weird question about not being able to see the boat. I have no idea what they were talking about, because it was just a big, giant boat right there. But anyway. All right, what else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, that was the metal. Okay, the shark slicer. That's the boat. That's my biggest boat that I made. And it's the cargo boat. And I haven't been driving it in a while. For a couple years, it was like my main boat. And then when I was building my house, it was just parked for a while, and I was using a different boat. Anyway, I kind of want to make it my main boat again, because it's an awesome boat. But I want to do some modifications to it, because it's got a really tall roof, which is nice because you can walk under it. But when there's a lot of wind and there's waves and it's getting thrown around, basically not everything, but a lot of the redesign of the boat has to do with like the worst weather conditions. And I have driven. Hold on a second. Hey guys, stop yelling! You're just a little quieter. Okay. All my kids are here. They're not doing anything wrong. They're just being so loud. Anyway, so I have driven that boat through some pretty serious weather, and it's always made it through. And I've never had, I've never been stranded anywhere. I've always gotten through the terrible weather and always made it home and everything. However, whenever I'm in that terrible weather, I'm always thinking, oh God, I wish the roof was lower and less, more aerodynamic and I'm always thinking of all these things I could do to change the boat to make it handle terrible weather better. And then, for the next 4 weeks, the sun comes out and everything's beautiful and I kind of forget about it. And then, I go through another storm and I'm like, oh, I gotta change the boat. So anyway, I kind of had to tune up the boat now anyway, because it's been sitting for a while. It's got barnacles on it. Oh, it's going to be fun to peel those off. But I was like, okay, this is the perfect opportunity to do a bunch of renovations. So I made a few videos about making the pedal power for that boat. And that looks good. And I made a rudder for the boat, which needed some more fiberglass on it. Because the rudder, I just ran out of resin. So I made the rudder. It's just not as thick as I would want it. So I have another gallon of resin, which should be plenty. So I'm going to make the rudder thicker. So then I've got pedal power and steering. And the reason I need a rudder is because before that boat only drove with the motors, so the motors steered, so it didn't need a rudder. But if I'm sometimes going to be using just pedal power, obviously I need some way to steer it. So now it has a rudder. Yeah, so I've got driving and steering now under human power. And I'm not totally sure what I'm going to do about the motors. I did check the motors that are on there. One, I stole the propeller off, so that's whatever. But the other motor, which is totally intact, it appears to be functional. You know, it probably needs to be oiled a little, but it works. And maybe I'll use that one, or maybe I'll switch it. I don't know. But that's a pretty easy thing because I've got something I can use for the motor. But then the floors, I want to change the floors. They've been wood for the whole time I've had it, except, I mean, part of it was fiberglass. And there are these, you know what, I've got a model of the boat here. So this is a Lego model, obviously. And it's not to scale or anything, but these parts going across, those are fiberglass. And they, you know, hold the pontoons steady and strong and everything. But then the floors between, like the floors between here, those are wood. And I'm thinking I'm going to buy these. Oh, I might have to draw it. Well, they're like fiberglass grid things. So I don't know. You know, like if you're in a factory in some industrial place, there might be like floors going up and like kind of walkways in the air with floors that are like gratings, so you can see through, and if you like dropped a penny, it would bounce and fall through the holes. There's some fiberglass stuff of that from the place I got all the metal stuff, but they were out of it when I ordered that stuff. But they just got them in stock again like 3 days after I picked up my stuff, and I was like, come on, man. But anyway, I might get some of those. I think I'm going to get some of those and do all the floors. So then I don't have to keep replacing the wood. And the reason I did wood in the floor parts here is because I knew there would be a lot of heavy traffic on the floor parts. You know, if I'm like unloading and unloading stuff, and I figured if I have wood there, I could just replace the wood every few years, and I don't have to worry about something getting wrecked. But this fiberglass stuff looks like it's pretty tough. It could probably handle a lot. And if I have some cargo that is really going to scratch it up, you know, I could put a couple boards on top, whatever. So I think I'm going to do that. And then right now, this is not what the roof is like. Right now, the roof is like this, and it's higher. It's like really high. You can walk under. It's plenty of headroom, which is great when you want to walk around. But most of the time, I don't want to walk around. I just want to drive. So I want to lower the roof to what it is like here. You know, I've also got drawings of this. Here's my drawings. So this is a more accurate, more to scale representation than the Lego one. And so the roof that's on there right now like goes way up here somewhere, and there's a part of it like a frame that goes way up in the front. So I want to take off that whole front part and leave this whole area open up here, and then have a much lower roof back here, and there won't be standing room under, but you'll be able to go up on the roof. So you'll be able to stand up on top of this part, and then there'll be standing room here too, obviously. And on top of the roof part, there'll be solar panels. So solar panels here, and then solar panels on the other side, and they can, you know, obviously they'll be hinged so they can stand up. And when they stand up, they'll be like a railing. So people can go up there, stand the solar panels up, and then, you know, if I'm going somewhere and spending a night or something, then we could go up on the roof at night or in the evening, put the solar panels up, they're a railing to make it safer. And then when we're driving, obviously take the solar panels and lay them flat down. Or, you know, if the sun's coming from one side or the other, we can aim the solar panels at them a little. But basically the solar panels will lay down flat, but they'll be able to go up, so we can use the top as like a party deck or whatever. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to end up doing. What else do I have going on here? Okay. And now, the part that's going to hold up the roof, I think is going to be like this. So these will be all aluminum square tube, and there will be, I think, like five of those going across that way, and then basically aluminum sheet metal across the top. But okay, so aluminum sheet metal across the top, and then the solar panels will cover like 2/3 of that roughly when they're down, and when they're up, they'll be like that, so everyone can walk around up there on the top and have fun. But then when they're closed, there's still going to be a walkway down the middle, and this is hey, no naked babies, no naked babies. Yeah, my naked baby's like threatening to come over here. Anyway, there's still going to be like a decent sized walkway down the middle, like over a meter, like 4 feet wide. And that's great, because then you can go up there and you can stand there to lift up the solar panels. However, that's going to be sheet aluminum. Maybe I should just take a vote. How many people here call it aluminum? How many people here call it aluminium? Anyway, I'm just going to call it minimum. So this is going to be minimum sheet metal, which is going to get super hot in the sun. So I need to figure out some way of coating it. And if anyone has a suggestion of how to coat, of what to use to coat sheet metal so it doesn't get insanely hot, that would be great. So some ideas I'm looking at right now are just like reflective paint. You know, I went on Amazon and I was like, oh, this looks like it says what it does. And, you know, there's some decent reviews, but I don't really know. So I might get a gallon or like a 5-gallon bucket of this reflective paint. I may have put that on my Amazon wish list. Whenever I'm looking for stuff like this, I'll put it on my Amazon wish list, which, you know, is probably also wishful thinking that someone might send it to me. But then I also kind of use it as my like my shopping cart, and then, you know, I'll end up getting it, you know, when I want. Although if anyone wants to get anything off my Amazon wish list, I am very super cool with that. And I've actually been kind of surprised at how many people, or how much stuff people have sent me off the Amazon wish list before I had a chance to just get it myself. So to everyone who's done that, oh, super thank yous. That is amazing. So yeah, thank you so much. So right now I'm working on, yeah, some kind of metal coating. Another idea is AstroTurf, you know, like fake grass, just rolling out fake grass on top of the sheet metal, and then solar panels would lay on top of that, and then when they pop up, it would just be like this fancy little lawn. Oh, I could even make a little hole so we can do putting, except that would be terrible. That is a terrible idea, Jaimie. You're on a boat. The ball is going to fall off into the water all the time. Okay, do golf balls float? Wait, golf balls might float. I think they might float, actually. Maybe I can do putting on the top deck of my boat, but only if I end up going with the you know, the AstroTurf fake grass route. So yeah, maybe I should check the comments. Someone might be saying something about what I could use up here. Oh, we love the Jaimie show in the house, and the house of the Bouse house. Someone needs to turn Jaimie, the adventure builder, into a comic book. Cooler than Batman. Batman is pretty cool, though. I would think the Bitcoin as a nest egg if I were you. Oh, I'd leave the Bitcoin as a nest egg if I were you. Well, I have a little bit of Bitcoin, but that I'm, you know, saving just in case. Because, well, I don't know if I should go into this right now, but let me just barf it out real quick. So there's some inflation happening, and there's been a lot of, you know, in the United States. So I should be talking about this on Jaimie Talks. Yeah, I'll be able to talk about all this stuff on Jaimie Talks and not worry about people being like, we don't want to hear it. But anyway, I'm just going to make a quick thing right now. You know, inflation is becoming an increasing issue. So yeah, having some things other than United States cash dollars is kind of good. And that's also one of the reasons that I got all this sheet metal and pipe. Like obviously a lot of it I'll use, but I got a bunch of stuff that I don't have plans for yet, but I know I'll end up using it. And the thing is, a stainless steel pipe isn't going to lose value over time. Like 30 years from now, it's still going to be in basically the exact same condition, and I'll be able to use it, even if inflation gets really bad and I couldn't afford one in the future. I'll have it because I bought it when I could afford it. Or in the future, if inflation gets really bad and I need some money for something, I could sell, a stainless steel pipe for the same equivalent value in the future. So, it's going to retain its same value. So I consider like that kind of thing. I guess it's basically what a lot of people do with gold and silver. So a lot of people buy gold and silver because they're like, well, this is going to retain the value no matter what, right? My only concern about gold and silver is that if you're hungry and you need food and someone else has food, they're not going to want your gold or silver instead of food. But if they need to build something, they might want a stainless steel pipe, or so when I think about precious items to retain value, like something you want to store for the future, I always think of things that are valuable, but also that things that have agreed upon value, like gold and silver, but also have like intrinsic value. Like I could very well use it for myself. Like what would I do with a block of gold? I could do some stuff, but not like I'd rather have a whole pile of stainless steel pipes or something, So anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Okay, I was talking about this boat, and someone says, oh yeah, I was checking the comments. Oh, whoa, what is Jaimie building first? Onondaga, Jaimie builds. Nanobot is a magnet, really small one. Zoom in your, let's see, houseboat piece. Oh yeah, I don't have the houseboat anymore. That one's gone. The biggest boat I have currently, the biggest boat I was like driving around is the Shark Slicer. It's the cargo boat. What's a Lego? Mr. Landfill says. I suggested the second channel for the talking videos a year ago, but got destroyed in the comments. That's funny. Really? That's terrible. I thought it was a great idea. It totally makes sense. But yeah, I would have done it. I would have made a second channel years ago if it was easier to do. Oh yeah, so maybe I should finish what I was talking about with this boat, right? So I want to figure out some coating or some surface or something I can do to the top of the sheet metal here, so it doesn't get ridiculously hot. Other things I'm doing is, this is cool. So I want to put lithium batteries in this boat. Now, I've used lithium iron phosphate batteries in the past. However, I've always gotten like really crappy, terribly used ones, which were still useful, but it's totally different than some new ones. Now, recently, well, I have one coming, basically. I'll make a video about it when it's here. It's coming on the next container, I think. Which is, I don't know, it's not going to be here for like a month and a half or something. But it's like a 24 volt, 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery that has been donated to me. And I'll make some video about that. And that's going to go in the Shark Slicer. But I would really like to get another one. So I may, because it's kind of a big boat. And 2 of those batteries would be amazing. One will be pretty good, but 2 of those batteries would be amazing. So I might end up just buying a second one, before the shipment leaves to come to Central America. And just in case anyone wanted to know, it's currently on my Amazon wish list. It's a 24 volt, 100 amp hour battery. But if someone sends me one, that would be amazing. But otherwise, I'll order a second one and just pay for it. And then I'll have 2 batteries for the Shark Slicer. And I've calculated that with 2 of those batteries in the Shark Slicer, I should be able to drive pretty much to town and back in the dark. you might be kind of pushing it, but I would never actually do that anyway. Really, I'd only need to guarantee one way, and two batteries would guarantee I could go one way in the dark. So if there's an emergency in the middle of the night or whatever, I could go one way with the motor even if I wasn't able to pedal or whatever. And then I also need a charge controller for that. So this is on my Amazon wish list too. Maybe if anyone has any charge controller recommendations, I would totally be up for any suggestions. I think I put a Renogy 30 amp charge controller, which should be plenty. That's on my Amazon wish list. So if you want to check it out and give me an opinion if that's good or not. I thought it looked fine. And then I also put an inverter on there. So I might end up buying it'd be nice to have an inverter on the boat so I can plug stuff in. But that's not super urgent or anything. That would just be like a really nice thing to have since it's a huge power supply, you know. But I don't really need to plug things in right away. All right, what else is going on with this boat? You know what? Let me just open my computer for a second because there's some stuff I put on there. Okay. Yeah, okay. I've just been using my Amazon wish list to like put things to keep track of what I need to put on the boat. Oh yeah, and some other things. Oh right. Okay. Now the boat's gonna need some seats because okay. If you remember the last video where I installed the pedals. Now there are pedals, I don't know, somewhere back here, and there are currently no chairs to sit in. So basically, there's like like pedal power out the bottom of the boat here, and little me can sit here, and another person can sit there and pedal the boat, and there are currently no chairs. So I'm either going to make chairs. I mean, either I'll make chairs or I was thinking about buying some fancy, well, let's see. I put this on my Amazon thing too. High back universal lawn and garden mower tractor seats. They looked real comfortable. And when you're pedaling for hours and hours, it's kind of nice to have a comfy seat. So I don't know if anyone has any suggestions for like the most comfy, like most amazing seat that you'd want to sit in while pedaling for like 6 hours. Yeah, totally let me know. Although I picked this, it's a lawn and garden mower tractor seat because it can get wet and it can be outside. Like I wouldn't want like any kind of super comfortable seat that's going to be inside because it's going to get wet. Let's see, what else did I have on here? So I'm gonna probably end up getting 2 of those. Maybe I should only get 1 for myself. Nah, I have to get 2 for my passenger. And then there was another thing here. Oh yeah, okay. So for the speed control for this boat, there will be two ways, well, I guess 3 ways you can drive it. Obviously you can pedal, but to operate the motors, I'm gonna have the standard Jaimie Frankenstein copper pipe, like science class switches to connect individual solar panels to the motor. Or maybe I'll connect 2 solar panels at a time. I only need 3 switches I don't know. Anyway, I'll have a few switches. So you connect 1 switch, it'll connect maybe 2 solar panels to the motor, then you connect the next switch, it connects another 2, and that will be basically the speed control when the sun is out on the solar panels, and I can drive with the solar panels. Now, speed control when you're running a motor off batteries is a little trickier. Okay, it's a lot trickier. So you don't want to have a switch that just turns the motor on from a battery for a couple reasons. One, it's just a huge surge of energy all at once, because when the motor's not spinning, it's not creating any resistance. So it just so much energy goes through it. It's hard on the motor and the battery and everything. Plus the motor's like, torques really hard, like when it starts going, and it's just not ideal. So often you'll see things like in motor controllers that say soft start, that means it'll basically restrict the amount of electricity coming in, the amperage going to the motor, so it doesn't do that. So I don't want to have any fancy electronics in the speed controller of this boat. So I'm thinking of getting, this is going to sound totally silly to some people, but I'm thinking of just having like maybe 3 different switches. The third one will just be like direct on, like from the battery to the motor. But then I want 2 switches before that. And those 2 switches will just have giant resistors, which is what you would do in like a little toy, right? Like if you wanted to have speed control in some little toy, you have like a switch that turns on the motor through a little resistor, and it, you know, resists the electricity. And then you could have a second switch that lets a little more electricity go through, still resist it a bit. And then, you know, full speed would just be let the electricity flow. But, you know, where am I going to find giant resistors? This is ridiculous to do on something that's like 1,000-watt thing, right? Except heating elements. That is exactly what heating elements are. So here I put like 48-volt, 1,000-watt water heater elements. And I might have to like put some, either stick them in water or have some kind of, what's it called, like a heat sink on them or something. But they're 48 volts, and I'm only going to be running them on 24 volts. So it should be really easy on them. Like they won't be heating up anywhere near what they would normally be. And if you have something like that, so it's a 1,000-watt heater, and it runs on 48 volts. But if you cut the voltage in half, you also cut the amperage in half. So you end up only doing a quarter of the amount of power. So it goes from a 1,000-watt heater to a 250-watt heater. So if I'm running it at a quarter power, it should be pretty easy on the thing and make it last a long time. And I figured I would need, well, I put 4 on my list here. But I could probably get away with like 2 or 3, but you know, it'd be good to have 4. Besides, I want to have one as a backup just in case one breaks. I don't want to lose my speed control in case I need to drive at night. Of course, the emergency backup plan, if any of that breaks, is just to, you know, hit the switch that does full power, and the motor will torque like crazy, and it'll be hard on the motor and the battery. But in an emergency situation, I could do that. But I think this is totally going to work as the speed control. And as anyone who knows me knows, electronics drive me crazy. Oh my God, I hate electronics. Like, I love them, but they're so amazing, and they freaking break all the time. Oh, and I'm not alone in that. So this will be like a caveman style electronics that should be extremely robust. It won't be the most efficient thing in the world. Like, some energy is going to get wasted in the heater, but only when I'm going slow. When I go full speed, it'll be bypassing that whole thing. So it's only going to be, you know, when I'm starting up the motor, or, you know, if I'm slowing down, or if I'm parking and just want to drive slow. Hold on a second. Hey, don't kick that, you turkey! Or whatever you're doing, banging on some metal. No, that, yeah, whatever that is. Stop doing that. I'm gonna have to go kick my kids' butts. So that's the basic plan for this boat. That's one of the things. And hey, seriously, what are you hitting over there? No, can you stop doing that? Aurora, what's going on? Can you stop her from banging that, please? Hey, Aurora, you are the Mega Mouse. Do I have to give you the sign? No, you're the Mega Mouse right now.
I don't need the sign.
I'm giving you the sign. Okay. Okay, just make her stop. Okay, one more time I hear it, you're getting the Mega Mouse sign. Okay. Okay, so that's what's going on with this boat. And there are a couple reasons I really want to get this boat fully functional and amazing and perfect. One of the reasons is that, I don't know, how do I explain this? I want to be able to have my kids here anytime. Not that I want to have my kids here all the time. I want them, you know, obviously they're here sometimes, and they're at their mom's sometimes, and that's great. But I never want to have to say I can't take them because whatever. And pretty much the only reasons I would have to say, you know, I can't take them is if I'm like going to town or something like that. But if I have a mega boat and it's got this huge like safe zone and is super kid safe, and I could conceivably drive one direction the entire way, no problem, on the motor and the batteries. And you know, it's fast and everything is super safe. Like I could just take all the kids with me on that. Not that I think that's going to be an issue, but it's just one of those things where I will feel better, you know? Like I just want to feel like I can have my kids here anytime and not ever have to have them not be here. I mean, there's obviously other ways I could do that. Like if I had another adult living in the house, I could leave the kids here if I went out for something or whatever. But I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. Anyway, what else is going on here? Okay, the lumber mill, right. Someone mentioned that they bet some of this metal I got is going to be for the track for the lumber mill. So in recent videos, I've been putting this lumber mill together, and it's pretty much done. Not 100%, like, I don't know, like upper 90% done. Like it's basically done. I just need to put it on a track and give it some wheels so the whole thing can move across a log. So yes, some of these pipes, I'm not totally sure what I'm going to end up using for the track for the lumber mill, but some of the metal I got in that delivery, and the long pipes are about 20 feet long, like 6 meters, and I think that's a good length to cut. You know, I don't need to cut anything longer than that. Obviously, well, with a 20-foot track, I could maybe cut like 18-foot logs if I really needed to, but I don't need that. And if at some point in the future I need a longer track, I can extend it or whatever. But I think, you know, just the 20-foot, the 6-meter length pipes will be good to start with. And kind of what I'm thinking so far. Where'd my pencil go? Oh yeah, right here. Is all right. Let me just draw this real quick. Just drawing. Hold on. Okay. So this is part of it anyway. So this would be the frame of the lumber mill, totally not drawn to scale. And then this would be the end of a pipe, and this would be the other end of a pipe. So looking at them, you know, on end like this. So they're 20 feet long. And then a wheel sitting on top of that pipe, and a wheel sitting on top of that pipe. And that would be what takes most of the weight. And then some, like just some, obviously a little bit better than this, but. And then I can just have like some little wheels just to keep it on the pipe. And well, I don't know. I guess either that or I make custom wheels. Okay, and the reason I drew the wheels this way is because I have some that are like this. They're shopping cart wheels, which I think would be great for rolling along the pipe, as long as I have something on the sides. But the other option is to, well, I guess there's a few options. I could put two of these wheels side by side. Let's see. You know, side by side, so they kind of keep themselves on the pipe. And I put two of those wheels together on a pipe, and it seemed like it would stay pretty well. Or, but I don't know. I don't want to do that in case you know it's going to put pressure on the wheels to twist them, and they might start moving, and it might bend them and whatever. But what I did in the lumber mill back in Vermont years ago was I made these custom wheels. So I made custom wheels like this, just you know, lathed out a shape like this, and then there's like a rollerblade bearing there, or skateboard bearing there and there, and then, you know, obviously a shaft through, and that would fit inside the tube that's on the lumber mill thing, and that would go on the pipe. And then I would just need the one wheel. I don't need all this other crap on the side. So right now I'm kind of thinking I might end up doing that, actually. That's kind of the leading idea in my brains at the moment. And the only difficulty with this setup and I wouldn't even say it's that much of a difficulty, is that sawdust will pile up on top of the pipe. And what I did for that on my old lumber mill, where I did this kind of setup, is I just had like a little brush that just ran in front of the wheel and just pushed any sawdust off. I don't think it was even a brush. I think it was just a piece of wood that was just stuck there, and it would just push the sawdust off out of the way, and it worked fine. So yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna do. I mean, obviously I'm gonna think about it more, but yeah. So I guess the main two priority projects I'm working on right now are the boat and the lumber mill, and then to get the lumber mill powered, well, I could run it off the boat once I get those batteries and all the solar panels connected. I could actually put it on the boat. That's what my friend keeps saying. He said, you should just put it on the boat, but I don't want to. If I do that, it's just going to take up the whole boat. And no, I'd rather use the boat for transportation of people and cargo, and set up the lumber mill somewhere just in a dedicated spot. And actually, the boat, the old roof, the roof that's on it currently is like this big angled roof thing, and I think I'm going to take it off and put it over where I put the lumber mill, and then then it'll have a roof, because the roof on the boat right now is kind of huge. It's like, what is it, like 30 something feet long? I don't remember how many meters it is. Whatever, 7 meters? No, 8 meters, 9 meters, 9 meters. Yeah, and definitely wide enough to go over the lumber mill and all that. All right, let me see what's going on in the comments here. I've just been talking for a while. What's a Lego? Curious how much let's see. I suggested the second. Oh, okay, expanded grid. Okay, the floor I was talking about, that is the fiberglass stuff. It's not expanded grid. You know what? Let me open it on my computer and hold it up. It's pretty cool stuff. It's a little bit expensive, but I think it'll last a really long time. Let's see. Okay, it's this. Oh, can you see that stuff there? Yeah, that. And it comes in 4x8 sheets, and I think it's 4 foot by 8 foot, which is like 1.2 by 2.4 meters ish, and it's like 4 centimeters thick, so it should be pretty strong. Anyway, I think that would be really good for the floors. And I think I've lost some of my messages here. Oh, someone said too pixelated to see. Which thing was too pixelated to see? Was it this? I'll just hold this up again, just in case. Yeah, I'll try to hold it really still so the computer image thing can catch up. So yeah, I think hopefully that caught up. I'm thinking that's going to be the floors. Question, you have Minn Kota motor with speed controller ready to use. Why don't you use it? Aha, the speed controller broke. Why, I hate electronics. Grr! So I have two big Minn Kota trolling motors, and they're 24 volts. So actually my son was telling me I should use one of those motors on the boat. So I might, it's a possibility. One thing that makes me nervous about that kind of motor is it's all submerged. So if the seal ever fails, water will get right into the motor. And that always makes me a little nervous, because then the motor is toast. Like if I'm running the motor and it gets flooded with salt water, and I'm not going to see it, I'm not going to be able to tell, right? I'm just going to keep driving for another hour until it, oh, what a disaster. It'll be toast. However, they haven't had a problem yet, so I might use them. I have to make new propellers for them, because in the past I 3D printed propellers for them. And I did that because the propellers they come with are way too slow. They're just made for going really slow and pushing a big boat. And I even bought some aftermarket, some custom motors, not custom motors, but some I'm not propellers. I bought some other propellers from another company that are supposed to be better, and they were better just marginally. So I 3D printed my own propellers, which were pretty good. But, 3D printed stuff, it's not that durable. So I need to probably make some fiberglass propellers for it. Don't make the boat roof smaller. I do want to make the boat roof smaller. And I think that the argument against it is that then I'll be losing all this space, except then I will gain all the space on the roof. So I'll actually gain a whole bunch of headspace if I go up on the roof. And when I'm under the boat, I'm generally there while I'm driving. So I don't need to stand. And no one needs to stand under there. If anyone wants to stand, they can just go to the front of the boat. I don't know if that was why you were saying that, but you should make a pedal system on your boat so you can lay down on your back or front and pedal. Well, I need to be able to see. But I put those chairs on my Amazon thing because I do want to make it have pretty squishy chairs where you can kind of recline a bit and like chill out. I don't obviously not lay down because you won't be able to see. I don't know if laying down would actually be that good for pedaling. Like I'd want to be sitting up, at least partly. Reclining, but sitting up. The Zombie Chopper has really good, really comfortable chair. And it's just molded right in. Like I just built the fiberglass housing just to be a good chair shape. And I put a cushion there. And the cushion is just like some pool float mattressy thing. And that chair is really comfortable actually. So I want something like that, maybe a little squishier, which is why I was thinking about the lawn tractor chair. You can also buy those wheels for custom photo time-lapse setup. Oh, I don't know, I missed something. Some tomaters Classic Dude Mike just mentioned community. Man, I gotta read through all these comments. You guys are saying all kinds of cool stuff. Oh, suggestion. Okay, this is for the heat thing. Use marine carpet for the roof. It will work and last for long. Marine carpet. I gotta write that down. Marine cargo boat. Okay, look up marine carpet. Yeah, it would be pretty cool to have like something kind of comfortable up there. My daughter is asking what is marine carpet. It's basically like outdoor carpeting stuff. It's kind of like the fake grass there. I have a patch of AstroTurf in my house, and it's like, we call it Planet Lego now. So I try to get the kids to keep the Lego contained to Planet or Lego Planet, which is, a bunch of fake grass over there. But it's kind of like the fake grass, except more carpety. Wait, let me see if I have any other. Would a speed control from a golf cart or forklift do the job? Yes, it would, and I actually have one. And that's actually what's on the boat right now. There's a good chance they still work. I have to test them and make sure they still work. But like I was saying, whenever, like the speed controls from golf carts and stuff like that, it's a lot of electronics, and you never know when it's going to break. And so far, I have not had a speed controller. Oh no, I did have a speed controller break. So far, I haven't had. Okay, that Minn Kota one was the only one I had break. But even then, I was just like, great. Now the motors are just dead in the water. Like when it broke, it was just like the motors do not work. Luckily, I wasn't far from home, and I did not have pedal power in the boat at that point. I just had a paddle, and I was like, oh, great. So I had to paddle, I don't know, it was only like half a mile or something. I was lucky, but what if I was like 8 miles from home and suddenly the motors stopped working and just that's it, So there is a chance I'll end up using just a golf cart speed controller, which is what I have been using for any of my speed control stuff. That's what's on my bulldozer right now, and that's currently what's on the Shark Slicer. But I really want to try this 48 volt 1000 watt water heater, just using them as resistors for speed control, and see if that's good, because I think it might be. Because the thing is, like, if one of those breaks, it's a piece of cake to fix it. Like, there's no, what do you call it? Blind items? I don't know. There's a word for this where items, machines or whatever, have parts that you can't really assess. You can't see them. Like electronics are always like that. There's all these integrated circuits, and if something breaks in the thing, it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't work. So I really like mechanical things. Like if there's a mechanical thing, something breaks, it's like, oh, well, that's obviously what broke. It's that broken piece, and you can replace it and repair it. So yeah, I really want to try that, just using giant resistors. Build steam-powered. Oh, I want to build a steam-powered boat. I've been thinking about that a lot, actually. I really want to build a steam-powered boat. I mean, first I have to get this done and a few other things, but I've been thinking about making a steam engine. And you know, I have fires every day. I cook on a wood fire. Who is blinking me over here? Now that my computer's on, if I get a message from someone, it blinks at me. And I'm pretty, it's Deshana. Oh, she just added some things to my Amazon wish list that I was asking about. Okay. Yeah, it was, okay, it's like a 5-gallon thing of roof paint that's supposed, well, it's called Stay Cool roof paint. Supposedly you paint it on the roof and it doesn't get hot. So I don't know, but I'm also just liking this marine carpet idea. I don't know which thing will last longer, marine carpet or some Stay Cool traditional acrylic elastomeric roof coating 5 gallons white. I don't know. I could put one and then the other on top of it. I don't know. Anyway, and then the other thing I put on there was this stuff you add to paint, which is these little tiny micro bubbles or something, and it makes the paint insulative. Anyway, okay. What the heck was I talking about? Oh yeah, steam powered thing. So I've been thinking about making a steam engine a lot. And like I was saying, I cook with fire, like wood fire, every day. And every time I'm lighting a fire, I'm just like, ooh, I could make a steam engine. And I kind of have a lot of the design in my head already. It would be a rotary one with piston, like a central thing, and then pistons coming out, maybe 6 of them. And yeah, I'm looking forward to making a steam engine one day. That is going to be really cool. I think you can find an electric stove knob with multiple resistors, and you could have 3 or 4 speeds and easy to find. Wait, an electric stove knob with multiple resistors. That's true. Let me just write that down. I got to think about what the wattage and voltage in the thing is going to be, but electric stove knob. That's funny. I'm thinking of electric stove, burners, but what about the knob? Yeah. Do they really have resistors? Is that how they work? Do they really just have a bunch of resistors? Because that would totally work. How? No, I want to know. How do they set that up? Not talk to me about hot water heating elements. Damn sand battery and I are not on speaking terms. Oh, classic dude Mike has been making a sand battery. Will a potentiometer work? A potentiometer would work if it's big enough. So for the speed controller, a potentiometer is just a variable resistor. So you turn a little knob and the resistance goes up, or you turn it the other way, the resistance goes down. I'm sure this exists, but I am not aware of a variable resistor that can handle like 1,000 watts, 1,500 watts, like 24 volts, 60 amps kind of thing. It would have to be a pretty serious one of those, like big one, like. But I don't know. Maybe if anyone knows about one that's huge like that, let me know. Hopefully, silicon carbide semiconductors become more mainstream as super robust electronic components. Oh, I would love electronic components to be more robust, because like there's there's so much potential that we have, just as a species with all this cool technology and stuff. But we keep making all this garbage that falls apart, and instead of becoming like this amazing race of super dudes and dudettes, we're just kind of like we're just filling the planet with garbage. It's we could totally do better stuff, man. Yeah, soft start with resistor and then switch to full power. Yeah, exactly. And with using the resistor for a speed control will waste a bit of energy, but 99% of the time I'm just going to be driving full speed anyway. So I mean, it's not like I have like a 400 horsepower motor and I'm driving a car or something and I have to stay below the speed limit. No, my full speed is not going to be that fast compared to my gas engines going around. So I almost always just drive at full speed. Can you change setting to include shipping? Ooh, you're saying on my Amazon thing. Oh, wait. Oh, you mean like shipping? Can I change the setting to include shipping like to Panama? Because most of the Amazon stuff, like if I put something on an Amazon wish list, there's one thing I see that has shipping. I usually try to avoid that. But generally everything else has free shipping. And then, I mean, I just figure I pay the shipping to get it into Panama. That's just kind of a cost of living here if I want to get things from out of the country. And I figure it's offset by the lower cost of living otherwise. So, for instance, I wouldn't have been able to buy an island like this, like in Florida or something. It would cost like millions, or I don't know. I couldn't afford it. So, that kind of gets offset by, okay, I've got some extra shipping costs to get things into the country. So if that's what you're talking about, don't worry about it. I just take care of it. Depending on price, you may want to check out 110, 220 volt heating elements. I actually did. When I was doing the math and everything, and I don't remember exactly the details of what I was scribbling, but I figured out that this 48 volt, 1000 watt heating element would be theoretically a good size resistor for a speed controller for the boat. I did at one point years ago test like a heating element out of a stove. It was like a 110, I think it was 110 or 120, whatever you call it, heating element for a stove, and it had too much resistance. So I if I used it, the motor would go, but it went a really slow amount. I was like, no, I need to go a little more than that, But okay, better. You can do a very simple battery parallel to serial switching. That sounds way easier than it is, especially with lithium batteries. Like it's a block of 24 volt lithium batteries. Yeah, switching a bunch of cells between parallel and series. I've thought about doing that and just like having a gang of switches that's just like ka-chunk, ka-chunk, or just, but it gets real complicated real quick, Resistance turns battery life into wasted heat, right? But only during the very short periods of time when I'm just like either accelerating or parking or have to go slow. Almost always I'll just be driving fast. Could use a sewing machine pedal as a speed controller. As far as I know, and I don't really know this, but as far as I know, a sewing machine pedal needs alternating current, but I don't actually know. Is that true? Do they work off of some speed control that has to do with alternating current? Because this will obviously run on DC. Why does it say Deshana Gibbs gift registry address as the shipping address in your Amazon wish list? Just because, with the shipping guy, when we get stuff sent to Panama, we just always put stuff under the same name, and it's Deshana's name, but it comes to me. Okay, so the thing is, like, Deshana and I are going our separate ways in life, but we're still living in the same place, and we still have kids, and we're still collaborating on things. Like if one of us goes to town, we'll pick up all the packages for both of us. That's all fine. It's just all of the other stuff that was a problem. But yeah, if don't worry about it saying her name. It comes to me if it's my thing. And actually, I pick up the stuff more often than her anyway. So okay. Why can't the benchtop metal bending ship to Deshaina's default address? We're sorry. This item can't be shipped to a wish list or gift registry address. What? Are you trying to send me a benchtop metal bending thing? Oh my gosh. That's a whole other topic I was going to talk about. Maybe I should pick another one. Dude, oh. Well, anyway, let me just talk about that for a minute. Okay, so I went over all this boat stuff. Now there's a couple other things on my Amazon wish list, which Lauren is mentioning right now. A couple metal, like a pipe bender and a metal brake, which is just a metal, like a sheet metal bender. And, you know, obviously I just got a whole bunch of stainless steel and aluminum pipes, like 200. And then a whole bunch of sheet metal. So if I could use these items for that, it'd be great. And I was also thinking about starting to do some kind of workshops, and I might not be ready for it yet, but I talked about this a while ago, and it kind of got lost in all the just the crap going on, you know. But I want to at some point, not too far in the distant future, start having events like workshops. Maybe can I say workshops, or does workshops just mean a bunch of vegans doing yoga or something? Can I do like workshops where people come and we like build a metal kayak or make a, I don't know, thing, you know? So that in that case, people could come and we could spend a week building something, and then I want to have a bunch of good tools for that. Like I don't want it to just totally be relying on what I usually do, which is like just take a hammer and smash it into the right shape kind of thing. So I want to get a few more machines. Do you call it machines? Tools for like metal forming tools, so that I can do that. And then I don't know. I'll have to figure out how to get that set up and everything. Sorry, I'm going through these comments backwards because I was at the bottom. Oh, Tapatio salsa, picante hot sauce in your wish list. I will get. Oh, get that for sure. Oh, I love Tapatio. Oh, Tapatio. Do you also love Tapatio? Man, it's my favorite hot sauce. Why not build a camper boat with tent walls? That can be released. Also, ever think about an amphibious boat? Ooh, that's two excellent questions. Yes, amphibious boat. I've thought about that a lot, actually. But the camper boat, that's basically what the shark slicer will be. So inside, oh wait, this is a better shot of it. All right, so inside the pontoons of the shark slicer, you can see windows here. You can go in there, and there's a bed in there on one side, and the other side, I don't know, there's just some junk. But there's totally a bed in there, so you can climb in. You can go, like, there's two hatches. There's one back here and one back there. And you can go down in here, and it's not standing room or anything, but it's decent room that you can sleep. Two people could sleep if they like each other. But then the other thing is, if I change the roof to this, I'm going to make it waterproof so that this whole under here area, you'll be able to sleep. And I've been thinking about maybe making the solar panels that can fold up be able to come down the sides and just kind of be walls. And then I'll have some kind of, either I'll do that or I'll just have something that rolls down so you can enclose this whole bottom area, and then it becomes a pretty good sleep zone because it's a pretty big area under here. So I'll have something that rolls down the front and the sides and the back and the other side, and then you can enclose this, plus people can sleep inside the pontoons. So yeah, then it also becomes a camper boat. So I can take cargo on it. I can go on trips and sleep places, which I have done before. Years ago, when I made the fiberglass molds for the fiberglass domes, I went to a friend's place and stayed there for a week, and a couple times actually, and just slept inside the pontoons, and it was great. What else are we going on about here? Oh, liquid rubber RV roof coating. Yeah, that's basically what I put on my list here. If you have a better suggestion, like that's what this stay cool elastomeric roof coating stuff is. I read through the reviews and stuff, and people were like, "Yeah, I coated the top of my RV, and now it's way cooler." And I'm like, "Well, that's what I'm looking for." Renogy 40 amp MPPT charge controller. It's the one that I want. I don't want MPPT charge controller, partly because they're more expensive, and partly because there's just more electronics in them, more things that can go wrong. And okay, so for anyone who doesn't know the difference between MPPT charge controller and a PWM charge controller, MPPT is maximum power point tracking. It's got all kinds of fancy electronics, and you can have a varying amount of voltage coming into the charge controller, and it will make that voltage be the correct voltage for the batteries, and it will give it the maximum amperage. It's like the most efficient way to charge your batteries, but it's a lot of electronics and they're expensive. Now, a pulse width modulation basically takes the energy from the solar panels. It doesn't change the voltage of them. It just kind of like lets the energy go into the batteries, or it stops it. And that's the pulse width. Like it lets the energy pulse into the battery, and once the batteries get up to the right, once the energy going out is at the right voltage for that charging cycle or whatever, then it pulses off, and then it pulses back on. It's just like it's basically just slowing down the electricity. But with a pulse width modulation, you have to have solar panels that match the battery voltage. Like it's not the same voltage; it has to be a little higher. So like to charge a 24 volt bank of batteries, you'd want like 36 volts solar panels. Like 36 volts is, recommended. But if you have short wires, you can get away with 30 volts. It's fine. It's fine, whatever. Now, I like the pulse width modulation, partly because they're cheaper and partly because there's less stuff in them that can go wrong. But also because if your charge controller breaks, you can just connect your solar panels directly to the batteries because they match. You have to pay attention and make sure you don't overcharge the batteries, or you'll have a problem. But I've actually done that for weeks before, actually months. I just had a voltage readout and I connected the battery just with a wire, and when it got to the right thing, I'd disconnect it and be like, that's good enough. But if you're doing an MPPT, maybe you have solar panel array that's like 100 volts coming into your 24 volt thing, and the MPP charge controller does all the right stuff so that your batteries get charged, even though there's a huge amount of voltage going into a low amount of voltage. Your electronics take care of it. But if that breaks, you can't just take your 100 volts and connect it to the batteries, because it will explode or melt, or it's a problem. So there are various reasons that I like the pulse width modulation more. It's like the less efficient option, but the more robust option, and the option that leaves you more options in the cases of emergencies. I don't see a trauma kit on the wish list. Oh gosh, I totally meant to put one. I seriously didn't know. Oh, you're right. I've got emergency food, which is very important. So anyone who wants to know what's on my wish list and why, okay, I explained a bunch of the stuff at the top. I've got like paint stuff for the top of the boat so it doesn't get hot. What's it called? An inverter, a metal bender, which I'm being now told that I need to switch because that won't ship to here, or it won't ship on a wish list. I have to do a different one, which is weird. I don't know. A couple lithium iron phosphate batteries, which, I mean, if I got one, that would be exciting. The resistor for the speed control, a charge controller, a lawnmower seat. Okay, I went through. Then I've got powdered cheddar cheese, which I wanted there because it's delicious. And then Old World European Lime Wash, which I think I might have to take off because I think I should make that myself. It's kind of expensive, and I mean, I kind of put it on there thinking, well, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I should make that myself. And then I've got a few different emergency food survival things. And I do have one box of emergency biscuits, emergency survival biscuits, which my 10-year-old keeps sneaking into. And I've had to put, yeah, she looks guilty as, oh, she looks so guilty right now. And now she's laughing. Yeah, she keeps getting into it and eating the biscuits, but I've put it somewhere where she could get it, but it's going to be a lot more conspicuous if she's climbing the wall to get these things. Don't eat those. We need those in case there's an emergency. You never know what's going to happen. So yeah, I've got some emergency food stuff on there because I like to have some backup emergency food because you never know what's going to happen. Who knows what's going to happen? And then some cutting wheels for an angle grinder, which my son adorably calls a spark saw, and which totally makes sense, like an angle grinder. It's totally a spark saw. That's what it is. It's a spark saw. Although when I was in town the other day, I bought a pack of 25 cutting wheels. So I guess I don't need that now. I mean, if I got them, that would be amazing. And then a few lithium tool batteries. And then, as someone mentioned earlier, Tapatio hot sauce, which I can't find here, which is like my favorite hot sauce. Yeah, it's really good. And then some rivets. And someone asked me a while ago, why do you have so many rivets on your Amazon wish list? Are they riveting? And I chuckled. Thank you for that. Okay, the first set of, and there are a few different kinds of rivets. The first kind of rivets are sealed closed end. So normally, if you put a rivet into something, like a pop rivet, you put the rivet in, and you do the thing, it pops it, it holds the thing together, but there's a hole through the middle. And the hole through the middle is mostly plugged up by the piece of metal junk that's left. However, it's not watertight. And if you're riveting a boat, you kind of need that to be watertight, right? So closed end sealed pop rivets. The end of the rivet is sealed. So you put your rivet in, do the thing, pop it, water can't get through, it's totally watertight. The second rivets are countersunk rivets, which I'm actually more interested in because I'm thinking of making a kayak. Well, I'm kind of thinking of making a big boat with some aluminum, but I kind of wanted to, let me talk about the kayak first because that's what I would start with before making a big metal boat. So with any metal boat, but specifically with this kayak I might make, I would want to connect it with rivets, and I would put some silicone or whatever adhesive I need to make the seam watertight, but rivet it together, which would look super cool. I love rivets. Rivets look the coolest, don't they? It's all like steampunky and cool or whatever. But these are countersunk rivets, so that you drill out. You know how to countersink like a screw or whatever. You drill out a V and then put your rivet in and pop it, and then you've got it flush. So anywhere below the water line, I would want to use those kind of rivets, so that I could make a kayak and have rivets below the water line that are smooth. So that's what those rivets are for, and I think I'm gonna have to get some of those. And then there are just a couple other kinds of rivets that were good prices and whatever. Oh, and then some, and those are all aluminum rivets, and then there's some stainless rivets. Yeah, and then some more stainless rivets, and that's all the stuff I have on there right now. Well, that's some good stuff I have on there. Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of stuff people have sent me, and I try to mention it whenever I use something that someone sent me off there, because I really do appreciate it a ton. I don't make a ton of money doing these videos, and I make enough, it's fine. But a lot of the projects I do, I get to do them because people have either sent me stuff or helped out with buying some materials or stuff like that. So super thanks to you guys for doing that. Let's see. All right, what else was I going to talk about here? Oh yeah, I got my list. I'm only halfway down my list. Oh no, wait, I talked about the lumber mill. I talked about wanting to make sure I could take the kids with me anywhere I go. Workshops, I talked about that. Oh, and I talked about everything. Except food plants. So this is just an ongoing thing. I want to plant more food and get that going more. And now that now that I've kind of got, I guess, sort of more control over my own life. Like, Deshana and I are each doing our own thing. She's totally responsible for her island now, and I'm totally responsible for, everything else I'm doing. And that means I can really focus on what I'm doing more. So I want to get the food going more than I have been, and I've been doing all right. Just everything though. I feel like I can really, crank everything into high gear as soon as this foot infection thing goes away. But yeah, my scab here is doing well. Ooh, isn't that pretty? It was way grosser last week. All right, let's go down to the bottom of the comments again. I'm sorry for any comments I missed. When I started doing these lives, it was only like 30 people, but now it's like 116. I can't quite keep up and answer all the comments and stuff. So if you have a question, please feel free to repeat it, because I'm not trying to avoid any questions. Anytime there's a question, I try to make sure I answer it. But I also know that there's some conversation going on amongst you guys that I don't necessarily need to read. And if you do have a question, type question in capital letters so that it stands out and I notice. And sorry if I missed it totally, No, you would have 2 identical banks and you, let's see. Oh, okay, let's see. Man, you guys have been talking about so much stuff over here. Oh, this is hilarious. Oh, I'm not going to say who it was in case someone gets annoyed, but I must have missed some earlier discussion in the stream. Why are uninformed people giving bad or unworkable speed control advice? I'm sure I missed a bunch of that too, but that's just funny. The resistors and solar panels might be a cool heat source for steam engine. Not sure if that makes sense, but it would be cool. Actually, that is totally true. Now, the resistors I chose those ones because they won't get that hot. I would be like way underpowering them. However, they would get hot, and if I took the motors off and just ran the electricity right into some heaters, I could boil water electrically through the solar panels and the thing. And I didn't really think about that before, but it's kind of an obvious thing. Like if I build a steam engine, I could have it dual powered. I could have the water heated by an electric heating element, which is heated by solar panels. Wouldn't be the most efficient thing, but if the sun is out full power, I could use it, or even use some kind of reflective condenser, whatever. But then the other thing is just have a wood fire, so then it would be dual powered. Variable frequency drives are getting smaller and more contained. The result of employing one would utilize more watts spent in the motor and not making phase speed heat loss. Right. Oh, okay. Let's see. Go do yourself nuclear, then power the neighborhood when you get back from town. Oh. All right, I can't use a variac for speed control because it needs alternating current. When you have alternating current, you can do a lot of cool stuff. Man, that Tesla guy knew what he was talking about. Oh, I got a question here. Talk channel has surpassed 160 subs. That's funny. Okay. Question. Is it possible to shade solar panels to drop volts? Yes. Are you talking about the speed control in that question? I don't need to speed control the solar panels because, like, if I have a 1,500 watt motor and the solar panels are only like 250 watts, I can just connect one of those directly and I can connect 2 of them directly at once. Plus, you don't get the same problem you have with the battery. So with the battery to a motor, you connect it for a moment, the motor's not spinning, so it's just like short-circuiting the battery for a split second until the motor gets going. And when anyone who knows when you short-circuit a battery, just tons of electricity flows. Even if it's just for a split second, it's going to heat things up and make a spark and, you know, make things jerk around and be hard on the motor and the battery and everything. Hey, stop banging on that. However, with the solar panels, they can only output a certain amount of current. So you don't have the high amperage start problem you do with a battery. Hey, oh, do I have to go, Aurora? Aurora the Megaboss.
I'm not the Megaboss.
No, you gotta be the Megaboss. Or I'm gonna have to come over there and give you guys the throwdown. Don't you just love this chat? Yes, this chat. Okay, let's see, where am I going? 10,000 of those closed end rivets are what I used to attach siding to my house. Cool. Were they the... Yeah, you could totally do that with the closed end rivets, because then they're watertight and your stuff the water wouldn't get into behind your siding, you know. Plant some Pereskia. Oh God, I gotta write this down. Okay, someone is telling me, Reda Konalas is telling me plant some Pereskia.
Celestia.
Oh, it's got two different names. Oh God, do I have to write them all down? Aculeata, otherwise known as Aura. Oh, why are you giving me multiple names? Pro bonus? Really? Pro bonus. Okay, this plant, its leaves. Oh crap, the thing just moved. Its leaves have very high protein content. Okay. Oh wait, AKA, the same name of the same thing. High protein leaves. I'll just draw a little picture of some leaves. All right. I do have some leafy stuff planted. I have the stuff called Katuk, like K-A-T-U-K. And it also has these little berries that taste like sweet peas. And it's supposed to be pretty good for you. But I'm going to look up what that plant is. I also want to get some nuts. I want to get some Malabar chestnuts. This is like a secret mad scientist meetup. Ha ha ha, I love it. It totally is. Oh, so easy. Connect to get the motors moving, only to solar and then to battery. Well, yeah. So if I'm doing the solar, what do you? I've got this kid right here, like right here, making faces at me. It's making it a little bit hard to concentrate. So if I'm driving my boat in the sun, I can use the solar panels, you know, the solar panel speed control, just connecting solar panels directly to the motor to speed up the motor and then connect the batteries directly, and that's all fine. But if I'm driving in the dark, I need some way to start the motors without, you know, cranking it, just short-circuiting the batteries. So yeah, I need something that will work in the dark. What's the first rule of Secret Mad Scientist Meetup? I don't know. Oh, you don't talk about Secret Mad Scientist Meetup. I want to be more like you, Jaimie. Well, that is the most amazing compliment ever. I think. Thanks for being so inspirational. Tim in Granger, Iowa. Well, thanks, man. Is that Granger? Does that have anything to do with the store Granger? Like the place where they sell all kinds of super awesome stuff, but kind of overpriced? Well, thanks, man. This channel should be called Brainstorming with Jaimie. Well, not this channel. Jaimie Talks is going to be next week, starting next week. All my talking is going to be over there. So I'm trying to give everyone a chance to know that before I just start going over there and no one knows about it. Yeah, okay, this plant grows really well in Brazil. It's called also Poor's meat. The Poor's meat. Cool. Well, I gotta look that up. Maybe I should write down the slang term because there's probably going to be some stuff about that. The Poor's meat. Speaking of meat, we recently had a bunch of pig. Oh, it was delicious. And I got like a lot of pork fat out of it. And we cooked some popcorn in it. Oh man. That's like my favorite thing to do with popcorn. That's like pretty much the reason I have popcorn in my house, is anytime I've got animal fat, oh, we just cook popcorn in it. Like, what else do you do with animal fat? You know, you could put it in rice, but it's a little bit. Oh, if you just put straight animal fat in a lot of things, it just ends up being real heavy. But I'll eat like a cup of like pork fat in popcorn. It's just like yum. It's funny. When I was a kid, I didn't want to eat any fat because I didn't want to get fat. Now I eat all kinds of fat. Oh, dang, Mr. Landfill. That's right. I'll keep it hush up. Wait, what did I miss? Oh, I know what you're talking about. For speed control, you should check out Rheostats. Sorry about suggesting a Variac. I haven't slept for a while and words are hard. I totally know what you're talking about. I've been going through a particularly rough month and talking has not been my my forte. Although in the last like week or two, after things have been kind of settling down, you know, with Deshana, and we've kind of got things organized to where she has her thing and I have my thing, and I've been much more social. Like I've gone to town. Like usually when I go to town, you know, I'm very nice to anyone I talk to, but I don't really want to talk to anyone extra. But the last couple times I went to town, I was like, oh hey, how you doing? What's going on there? You know, it was just much more social. I felt more like I wanted to talk to people, which is nice. I haven't felt like that in years, actually. Let's see. You're awesome, Jaimie. Well, thanks, Bad Bones Dad. Oh, dads are the best. I hope you're the best dad in the universe. Every dad should be the best dad in the universe. And people who don't understand are going to say, but every dad can't be the best dad in the universe, but they can, because you only have to be the best dad in the universe to your own kids, and they are horribly biased in your favor. So every dad can be the best dad in the universe. Maybe put rivet nuts and a tool for on the wish list. They're nice when you want threads in sheet goods. Yeah, we were talking about rivet nuts the other day. I should put that on. Where do I put this? Okay, right here. I wrote it down somewhere before, but I just got wrapped up in other stuff, you know. Okay, put some rivet nuts and a rivet nut tool on there. Right. I should also ask you guys, I mean, I'm going to be done this pretty soon today anyway, but like hypothetically, if I were to have, you know, adventure builder workshops here where people could come spend a week, you know, making something, hanging out, you know, snorkeling, whatever. What, does anyone have any cool ideas for what kind of stuff we could make or do or stuff like that? Besides just make you do a whole bunch of digging. Misho, longtime viewer. Just want to say that I look forward to your videos and have for years, wishing you the best with all your endeavors. Well, thank you very much. Alex says, I've been watching you since I was a kid in high school. I think that's crazy to think about. Like, I've been doing these videos for like, not 20 years, but it's getting pretty close. And before that, I actually had a website for like, I don't know, 5 years before that. Probably like the last 20, 25 years, I've been doing something like that. Anyway, I'm 25 now, am married with 2 kids, and I completely attribute my work ethic to you. Well, thanks. I mean, you can't completely. I mean, a lot of it's you, but I am super happy to be a good influence. That is like the best compliment ever. I thought it was so awesome how much you could push through. Well, me too. Sometimes I'm not sure how it's going to go. Even the kits for the marine steam engines are more than $1,000. Oh, if I make a steam engine, I'm making one from scratch from my own ridiculous design in my head because I have some ideas. I usually only look for instructions for things. Oh, maybe never. But I generally only look for that if I don't already have an idea of what I want to try first. Although even, you know, I have an idea of what I want to do, and I'll probably look at some other stuff first, but I'll probably end up doing what I'm doing. Solar panels and electric engines are much more affordable. Yes, they are. But that stuff is, it does have a lifespan. You know, all the electric stuff, at some point it's going to die or wear out something. And I can't make my own solar panels. However, I could make my own steam engine, which means I could replace all the pieces. So, you know, in the event of a zombie apocalypse, a steam engine is going to become like super duper valuable. like 30 years into a zombie apocalypse. Not that I think a zombie apocalypse is going to happen, but you never know what's going to happen. Actually, much more likely than a zombie apocalypse would just be that the economy gets difficult, and just there's a lot of ways things can go wrong. Very long wire has a resistance you could switch in series. Yeah, I thought about just using a really long wire, but man, it would be a long wire. This is for the speed controller for the boat. I think it would be better to just have like some heating elements, just giant resistors. Birdhouse? What did I miss about a birdhouse? Make a wind turbine. I do want to make a wind turbine. I kind of want to when I build my workshop eventually, I'm thinking about putting like a giant wind turbine on top of it and powering a lot of the workshop like directly from that, which I think would be amazing. If you could do the same in Florida, would you do it? Thinking of things, but Panama or others are so sketchy. Why do you think Panama is so sketchy? That would be the question. I actually feel much safer here than I ever did when I was in the United States. And maybe I could get into that, why that is at some point on my talking channel on Jaimie Talks. But yeah, there are a lot of things about this place that I like a lot more. I wouldn't want to live in the United States again. And it's not because, well, let me just say why it is, not why it's not. Basically, the United States was supposed to be this really cool thing where people had a lot of freedom, and that's kind of how it started. But somewhere along the way, it just kind of got wrecked. And I wouldn't even say at this point that it's beyond reparation. I shouldn't use the word reparations. That's going to bring up all kinds of racist stuff. But I wouldn't even say the United States is so far gone that it can't recover and become a free nation again. And maybe if I was a United States citizen, I might stick it out and try to make it work more. But not being a citizen, I'm always kind of concerned about fighting against, the government and getting deported. Not that I'm fighting, but I'm always kind of resisting. I'm a difficult person, you might say. Maybe there's an FBI list that just says difficult people, and I'm like somewhere on that list. But I like it here for a lot of reasons. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go back to the United States, and not Canada either. Canada is just, some Canadians are going to be upset at me for this, but it's too communist and fascist, and all the marketing says it's not, but Canada is you are free to do what everyone else does, and as soon as you do anything unusual, it gets real ugly real fast up there. And I do everything unusual, so. I've been watching your videos since part 3 of Giant Robot. Man, that was a while ago. Let's have a rainbow gathering somewhere near you. What is a rainbow gathering? You know what? I'm not gay, but I like rainbows. Is that okay? Can I don't think gay people aren't allowed to confiscate rainbows totally, right? I like rainbows. Hello, LOL. Oh, LOL. I'm 33 and I've been watching since I was in high school. That's crazy. Now I wonder how different I would have turned out if, like, when I was in middle school or high school, YouTube existed and I saw some weird guy like me doing all this crazy, weird, off-grid stuff way back then. I think I might have actually been able to skip a few kind of big mistakes in my youth because I didn't have any kind of examples to look at. Like, I had no one to look up to. So I was just kind of flailing around. I didn't know what I was doing. I went to university, which was a huge waste of time and money. Why not use a Flettner rotor to use some wind power in your boat? Flettner rotor. I have no idea what a Flettner rotor is. I'm gonna have to look this up. Flettner rotor.
Rododol.
A lot of long-time viewer in here.
Rodinosaur.
Plexi submarine spider tank. Well, that sounds excellent, actually. Been watching Jaimie since 2016. Toe meters. You've only been here. What year is it? 9. Whoa, wait, 7 years? You've only been here for 7 years? Yeah, that's totally long enough. Started watching your videos when you were in Vermont. That was at least 9 years ago. Water wheel power. I do have a stream on my biggest property. There's a, I mean, I wouldn't call it a river, pretty decent stream. All right, just some Lego fell over. I still remember the first time I heard about Jaimie was on Hackaday. Been a follower since then. Yeah, I used to, well, the guy who used to do Hackaday, he sold it. But he's a cool guy. I forgot his name now. I'll remember it in like 10 seconds. And you can use big rivets building the steam engine. Oh, big rivets on the steam engine, you're right. So is it just me, or are rivets like the coolest looking way to attach something? Like welding is amazing, right? But like rivets, they're just so cool. Like if I draw a picture of a machine and it's all metal and I want it to look cool, I'll just draw rivets all over it. Yeah, it's like the coolest way to attach something. It's probably a little bit silly that I would use rivets just because they look cool. But I mean, they're also totally functional, so whatever.
That's not that silly. Lots of people do things just to do.
My oldest daughter's telling me that's not silly to do things because it looks cool. And you can use big rivets. Oh yeah, building a steam engine. Birdhouse for the workshop builds for visitors to the island. Oh, I can't build a birdhouse. Well, no, I guess I could build a birdhouse.
That most we can
Well,
say.
my first thought when you said build a birdhouse in the workshop was like, birdhouse, come on. But then I realized birdhouse could be there's a lot of ways to interpret a birdhouse. I mean, I could make a super mega birdhouse. That would actually, take a lot of planning and thinking and building. Was searching for DC generator and found your generator build. That is my most viewed video, by the way, and it's kind of funny. I started watching when you had the Crazy Operation going on. Operation Crazy Operation. That was pretty crazy. We get brainwashed by TV, so we fear. That is true. Yes, I think this is referring to people thinking that Panama or a lot of other countries are scary and sketchy and all that. Like I grew up in Canada in the suburbs, and as far as everything I knew, Canada was fine, the United States was fine. You hit Mexico, it's all drug lords and being murdered, and anything across the ocean, it's just, well, Europe is fine and England is fine, but all the other countries, you'll just get shanked in an alleyway, or people will just like murder you anywhere you go, and there's animals that tear your head off, and everything is poisonous and kills you, and raw. And I remember being a kid and just thinking, oh wow, the world is horrible everywhere else. And then as I got a little older, and particularly when I started traveling, or even just talking to people who lived in other countries, they'd be like, what do you mean? I live in Australia and it's fine. Well, yeah, there are poisonous snakes, but it's not like they're like hanging out around me all the time, Or like, meet someone from like India and it's like, what? I'm from India. Everything is totally fine here. And then you start learning. If you start learning about the world, you realize that a lot of the things that we're told about other places is just silly propaganda to try to make your own country seem like it's the good guys and everyone else is the bad guys, which is silly. No one should be the good guys, no one should be the bad guys. We're all on the same freaking planet. If anyone screws up the planet, we're all screwed. So we should all be thinking about that and taking care of it, Although, eventually if we become an interplanetary species, then I still wouldn't want planets to fight against each other. That would still be silly. Do you ever get the itch to go back into robotics? Yes, I do. Although I don't know that I have to go back into it. I want to build a giant robot here, and I still design robots in my head. Like if I'm just hanging around, I'm always thinking of like things to make. At some point, I'm going to start making some again. Yeah. You blew my mind when you first showed your spider design. I would love to see what else you can come up with. You know, that one, the spider tank with the rotating thing and it walks in any direction, that was a really clever thing, not to toot my own horn or anything. But like, you know, it took me a while to kind of like figure that one out. And that was one of those really elegant designs where it's like, you know, it's like struggling. Well, here's a solution, but it's not that good. And then suddenly it was like, blam, that's it. That solves the whole thing. And then it was just this really elegant thing. And I have a few other things like that. There's this like beetle design that's really, really cool. And it looks, the way it moves, it looks like it would be a really complicated set of stuff inside, but it's just this really simple thing. And I actually have a 3D printed model of it around here. It almost became a toy when I was working with the toy company. Let's see. It's just, I know EU or USA that there is healthcare and stuff. Oh God. But I just want to be tax less and able to own farm animals without the government issued permits. Okay. So one of the big issues people have is they're afraid they're not going to be able to go to the hospital or whatever. Okay, when I went to the hospital for my life-threatening injury here, I think I paid $8. $7.50 something. And like I got a bunch of prescriptions, some antibiotics, some antibiotic cream, the doctor, the hospital visit, everything, $8. They even gave me a bandage thing. You know how much a bandage costs in the United States or Canada? It's like they're like $450. Oh, don't worry, the insurance takes care of it. But you're paying for that. Everyone's paying for that. But you go to a country, now in this country, okay, the hospital I went to, it's there's a special thing where it's partially subsidized. When they made the hospital, they had a certain amount of money. Now in a lot of countries, they would just take the excess money and pocket it. But in this country, they use the excess money to basically pay for people's care for, I don't know how many years. So this was basically paid for by, you know, I got stitches and all the stuff. It was basically paid for by whoever sent money, started the hospital, whatever money was there to start the hospital. I don't know where, it probably came from tax money or whatever. But another hospital, we've had 2 kids in this country. One kid was at that hospital, so it cost $0 because everything is just paid for. And actually, the only thing I paid for, the $7.50 or whatever it was just the antibiotics and this antibiotic cream and a few things. But my son, he was born in a hospital just under normal conditions, totally different hospital. Cost $36 if I remember correctly. To go to a hospital and have a baby, $36. So, maybe if things don't cost $450,000 to get a splinter pulled out of your finger, you don't actually need health insurance. So the way I do it here, and I feel much more comfortable doing this way than I would being wrapped up in some complicated system. Here, I just keep a certain amount of money set aside that I do not touch. It's just there for emergencies, for any kind of hospital thing, and that's my insurance policy. And being in a country where a lot of people don't have health insurance, so the costs aren't insane, it totally works out fine. And if I tell people that it costs $36 to have a baby, a lot of people are like, "Whoa, we're in like a grass hut and a dirt floor." No, it's a hospital. Like you go in there, it is a hospital. Like a hospital where a lot of the people don't speak English, but everyone's wearing their scrubs and they got their masks and there's like alcohol everywhere and people are doing stitches and there's machines and it's a hospital. It's just, and taxpayers' money does subsidize the hospitals to a large degree because people aren't expected to have health insurance here. Yeah, I feel much better being in that than being in some system where, everyone is required to have health insurance, and that way all the costs and everything you're paying for is kind of like shoved under the carpet where you don't see it, and you just sign the paper that says the insurance company will pay it, and then they end up paying too much, and it's all this big collusion between these people to suck money out of the taxpayer thing. So you end up paying insane amounts of money for this. But maybe in a less developed country, things just end up making a lot more sense. And I just went on like a 20-minute tirade there. And I could go on for like 45 minutes about that. Hours, easy. So yeah, this whole, and the thing about, you want to have animals without a government issued permit. You know what I have to do to get a cow? I just go to my neighbor and say, hey, can I buy a cow? That's it. I just go buy a freaking, if I want to drink the milk from my own cow, no one's going to show up and drag me off to jail. Like, and I think this is largely why a lot of the more restrictive countries are trying to say that a lot of these third world countries are horrible and you just get shanked in an alley and you have no freedom to do anything, because you actually have a lot more freedom in a country like Panama or like Central American countries, and I can't talk about a lot of countries overseas, but I hear that in a lot of, poorer countries, you just have a lot more freedom. Like, people are left to live their lives to a much larger degree, which scares people in the United States and Canada, because we're told that if the government isn't controlling every moment of your life, you're going to get stabbed by someone or bitten by an animal, you're going to die. Which doesn't make any sense at all. I'm Canadian, and yeah, it kind of is here. Well, that's nice to hear that, because sometimes I mention that I have problems with the Canadian government, and people get really, really upset. Yeah.
Baby.
Oh, let's see. There will be freedom again in the United States, but I don't see it united. Yeah, if things are kind of falling apart in a lot of the world. It goes back to that saying that's been quoted a lot of times in recent times. What's it? Soft times create, well, it's always soft times create soft men, but I would say people, because women actually have a lot of say in this stuff. And we have this feminism right now. There are a lot of weak women really screwing stuff up, and weak men. So I would say soft times create soft people. Soft people create hard times. Hard times create hard people. I don't know. Whatever. Hard times create, the saying. Anyway, right now we're at a point where we've been living through soft times for a long time, and there are a lot of soft people, and things are falling apart. And when it gets to a certain point, times are going to be hard, and people are going to have to be a lot stronger. Men and women. I like rainbows too. I am not gay. Yeah, tomaters. Rainbows, family of living light, turned 50 last. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's probably a cool thing though. You couldn't be most right. You couldn't be more right for Canada. Yeah. Flailing around is a perfect descriptor. Yeah, sometimes when I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just, oh my God, when I was a kid, I just had, I sometimes talk about how my childhood wasn't the best. It's not that I was getting like beaten to death every day or anything. A large part of it was just like a complete lack of useful guidance. Like, I had no idea. Like, no one taught me anything that mattered or was real in school or at home or anywhere. So I feel like I was just flailing around when I was a kid. Okay, dude, you gave me the courage to buy a sailboat and cape the Americas. Oh, no way. It didn't work out. Oh, no. But I'll see you in Panama soon. That sounds great, man. Come on over. Rainbow Gathering and the families involved have been going on well before the LGBT took over the rainbow. The Adventure Builder symbols, they're all colored too. They make a rainbow. Hi, Jaimie and everyone here at N, but we'll watch the replay. Yeah, so I'm like over 2 hours now. I should probably shut up in a minute. Can you believe my kids have been like super chill this whole time? There were only a couple times when I was like, yo, you guys need to stop banging on stuff. Yeah, this is the one that's been making faces at me for like the last hour. Rivets are sexy. The rivets are, oh, you like putting in rivets, but sometimes you need me to help you squeeze the thing. But you're getting strong enough to get them. Here, let me see these muscles. Look at it. Okay, in case anyone's wondering, this is, come here. This is basically what I looked like when I was a little kid. I was just skinny, but come on, pull your arm, make a muscle. Like, look at that. It's just a solid muscle. All right, get out. Yeah, I was super skinny like that when I was a kid. So I think that kid is going to be really strong. I don't know. All my kids are really strong. A Flettner rotor is a cylindrical rotating sail with really high efficiency and a very close heading angle. You can almost go upwind. Flettner rotor, cylindrical rotating sail. Well, I have a picture of that in my head. I'm going to have to look it up, see if it's what I'm thinking. Jaimie, always thinking bigger. Well, now I'm not even going to get into it. If you 3D print our propellers, why not try printing toroidal propellers? I don't currently have a 3D printer that's functional. I have 2 broken 3D printers. And I might, at some point, Frankenstein them into one functioning one. Although I kind of feel like I'm at the point where I feel like I should just start from scratch and just get a new 3D printer. But I don't. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. I've got this list of stuff to do already. Okay, but yeah, if I made a toroidal propeller 3D printed, could I coat it in fiberglass? I don't know. I don't know if the toroidal propellers are that much better to be. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you're insane. That's why I watch you. The funny thing is, whoa, I get called crazy a lot, and then this happens constantly to me. This has been like my whole life. Like when I start doing something, people are always like, "You're crazy. Why are you doing that? That doesn't make any sense. Why are you even?" Oh. And then when I get done and whatever I did worked, people are like, well, there's 2 reactions. One is either, oh, not crazy. I see where you're coming from here. You're just doing it the way you think, not the way you were told. Not crazy. Or I get the, oh, you're just lucky. You did everything wrong and were crazy. You're just lucky it worked out anyway. Not that everything works out. And on the occasion something doesn't work out, oh my gosh. The people who say I'm crazy, they just like have a field day with that. And the other, you know what another thing is cool right now? Like over the years, I've kind of gotten more and more sensitive to just insults and, joking at my expense and stuff, which I don't like. I don't like that. I don't want to be too sensitive to that stuff. But, just when when a lot of your life is difficult, it just makes you more sensitive. And just in the last couple of weeks, like things don't bother me anymore. Like there's a lot of things. Just ever since I've kind of gotten a real kind of agreement laid out with Deshana where things are better than they've been in a long time. Like I feel a lot better just about everything, And I don't mean to say that to say there's anything wrong with her. Just we're different. Let's see. I remember watching you when with my brothers when I was around 6 or 8. I think it helped me want to get my own property and end up building a lot of cool stuff down the road. That's awesome. Yeah, I wish I saw someone like me doing this kind of stuff when I was 6 or 8. Because when I finally did go off grid, it was like at least a decade overdue. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was just flailing around, no clue what I was doing. It would have been really awesome to see someone else. Just even not a good example, just any example, Lauren says, I've lived in 2 countries other than Canada. I felt safer in both of them than I did in Thunder Bay or downtown Hamilton. Yeah, I grew up in Hamilton. And yeah, it's just not the safest. But even, what, the thing I'm more concerned about living in the United States or Canada, there are dangers from other people, gangs or whatever, or just angry people. But I'm always more concerned about the governments. Because the governments in those countries are so big and so absolute. If they decide you are wrong and you are going to jail, there is nothing you can do. Whereas, in a smaller country or a less developed country or a country where the government isn't so huge, that happens less often. And, you might be able to have more say. Oh, let's see. I'm in Maine, so my car is covered with rivets. Oh, that's funny. And self-tap screws. Rust never sleeps. Yeah, if I was in a place with salt on the roads, a cold weather place again, I would totally build my own car and make it fiberglass, stainless steel, whatever's going to last. Of course, that's another problem with living in the United States or Canada. I can't just build a vehicle and drive it. Here, I can build a vehicle and drive it and I don't get arrested, There's so many reasons that, in these scary third world countries, life is just a lot better. And I guess I could basically sum it up as, if you're in a country that's more communist, you're kind of safer in terms of it doesn't really matter what you do. If you do stupid things and screw up all the time, you're still going to have a roof over your head and you're still going to eat. But when you live off grid, away from cities, and particularly in, one of these far off, sketchy countries, you're much more reliant on yourself. So if I screw up, I don't eat. If I screw up, I don't have a roof over my head. So, in places like that, you have the freedom to succeed or fail, which I happen to like. I like that. But not everyone likes that. Adventure Builder Club meetups. Yeah, so I've been thinking, when I was talking about having workshops where we, spend a week building something or whatever. Yeah, basically Adventure Builder meetings, which I used to do every year, and sometimes more than once a year, but it was like every year around my birthday, which is May 3rd. So maybe I'll try to do that this year again. And I don't know who's gonna come. Although it was always kind of funny to me, interesting. Like I would think no one would show up, but then like a bunch of people would show up to these Adventure Builder meetings, and we have a great time, and I'd meet all these cool people doing these weird things. And occasionally I'd meet a total weirdo and I'd be like, oh God. But mostly it was really super cool people. Flettner rotors, like a wing-shaped rotor, vertical wind turbine that propels the prop shaft. Cousteau experimented on one of his ships. Jocelyn, that's a turbo sail. Oh, same function, but it uses a fan and an oval-shaped sail. I am actually, okay, when I was talking about this boat earlier, another reason I want to lower the roof is because then it gives me a sail option. Because if I lower this, there's enough, it's low enough, I could put a sail on top, which I want to have that option to do. Can you build a robot for skidding logs? Yes. Your bulldozer is probably too light. Well, I don't know, but yes, I definitely could. I'm also a Mainer from Maine. Although rust hasn't eaten my car to death yet. This community is amazing. I knew it was a genius idea when all the copy tanks followed yours. Oh, the copy tanks. You're talking about the spider tank thing I made. Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad people are copying it now because I'm not making any money off it because the robot toys I was making or I was involved in making aren't being made anymore. So I'm not making money either way, but I'm kind of glad someone is using the idea because it's a cool idea. Yeah, dude, the spider was on another level, not trying to brown nose or toot your horn, but honestly, I think that mechanism is easily on Archimedes or Leo's level. Whoa, Leo and Archimedes, those guys were cool. I have many coworker construction friends from South America, and I bet they're cool. Everyone shout out Jaimie. In Canada, it costs $25,000 to have a baby, and mom will get kicked out the next day. Yeah. I know a friend in the United States who had health insurance, and she went into labor out of her home state. And because she was in the wrong state, she had to just pay for it herself. And it was, I don't remember how much it was, but it was like 5 figures, like $10,000, $20,000, I don't know. And she just had to pay for it. even though she had health insurance. Totally insane.
I never saw
Did they push COVID jabs in Panama? Well, I'm not getting any, and I haven't been harassed about it, so will you ever get Starlink? I don't know. Too much of your taxes go toward paying interest on government debt. Right there. That's one of the major problems about being in the United States or Canada or any of the countries whose what's it called? Their financial system is basically tied to the United States. And a lot of countries are to some degree, but a lot of countries are even more. Yeah, I mean, just look up some information about the Federal Reserve, and it's pretty horrifying what's going on there. And now I'm gonna get kicked off YouTube. Oh. Buy a goat. Cows are a mess. I do want to get a goat, actually. Not yet. I'm not ready for it. Been watching you for like 5 years. Wish you continued success. Love what you do. I'm trying to kind of wrap this up, but people are saying all this excellent stuff. My wife and I pay $300 a month plus a $7,000 deductible. Health insurance is a joke. You are absolutely correct. Yeah. You could come to Panama and you would be hard pressed to find a situation where you go to a hospital and it costs $7,000 or even $300. I know a guy who got a cancer thing removed. It was like $400. And this is when I first got here, he was telling me about this. And I was like, well, I mean, what was the care like? And he was like, it was better than it was in the United States when I paid an insane amount of money. It was better here. And I just walked in, asked them about it, and the doctor's like, well, yeah, okay, come on in. And they did it right there. But in the United States, you had to schedule an appointment like 6 months in advance, and there's no guarantee they won't cancel on you, It's just, anyway. I like if more things would be unregulated. Yeah, you know what? People figure out how to do stuff. The government does not have to hold everyone's hand. I can own some animals, but need a permit to slaughter them. I'm thinking of actually going to do underground farming if things get worse. Part of the problem is then you put yourself at risk for all kinds of going to jails and fines and just all this stuff. Like once the government comes after you in the United States or Canada, the governments are so huge and the military is so huge and the police presence is so huge. Once they're coming after you, you're just screwed. So, if you just go to one of these countries, Panama being a pretty good option, you just get a lot more freedom to live your life and do your thing. And a lot of life here is people just figuring out how to do it. Careful, Airchat, that box, if you stand on the edge, it'll flip. Yeah. What are you going to build with all that metal you just brought? Oh, man. I'm not going to get into it now, but lots of stuff. I have so many ideas. Yeah. All right, I got to wrap this up because I'm like over 2 hours now. You guys are going to go crazy if I don't shut up. Jaimie, do you review our comments later after the live stream? Well, should I? What are property taxes like in Panama? They are excellent, actually. Really excellent. I don't pay anything. Nothing. When will you grow a beard like Castaway? I don't know. I'm growing one right now. It's always kind of happened. Jaimie been nonstop talking for 2 hours. It's here for Jaimie. I could never do that. Well, thanks, Tomators. It is actually, yeah, it's a lot of talking. Whenever I feel discouraged about completing a project, I think about the time you were building that road in Vermont. You are an inspiration to overcoming obstacles. Well, thank you, man. And interestingly enough, whenever I come up against an insurmountable obstacle, I think about that too, the exact same thing. Well, I think there's two things I think about. When I dug the road in Vermont and my last season of track and field in high school, when there was like no way I could possibly win the championships because there was a guy way too fast. And then I did. And that was an incredible amount of training I did to do that. But yeah, both of those things just remind me that, you know what, you just go for it. Put one foot in front of the other and just keep going. And it's amazing the obstacles you can break through if you just don't accept defeat. Hey dude, I'm late. Frederick, how you doing, man? Never thought you'd still be on today. Nice to see you again, wearing a smile and surrounded by people who matter. Yeah, non-stop chat, amazing. Yeah, this, I don't know, just everything. The last week or two, everything has just been going much better for me than it has in a long time, which is really nice because things. I mean, maybe things in Deshana just had to hit like absolute rock bottom to be able to bounce back to something better. But she's a lot happier, and I'm a lot happier in so many different ways. Yeah, it just forced us to really figure things out, and now I'm doing a lot better. Not that everything's perfect or anything. I don't want to say anything. Oh, you guys are talking about such interesting stuff, and I need to shut up. But like, have you watched Waterworld with the kids? Or wait, better start with Captain Fantastic. Don't tell me about Captain Fantastic. Captain Fantastic was an amazing movie for like 15 minutes. And then the rest of the movie was like just this propaganda about why you should never live off grid or like in the wilderness. Oh, it was so disappointing. But the beginning was amazing. And what was the other thing? Oh, Waterworld. I showed my kids the beginning of Waterworld. Because, you know, Waterworld is really two movies. There's Waterworld before the boat got wrecked, and then there's just a pile of garbage after that. But that whole beginning part was amazing. So I've showed them the beginning of that. Anyway, how you doing, Scott? I think this is a good door, as if... I think there's a typo, maybe. It's true, a 16-year-old was arrested recently because he went to school while suspended. Oh my God. Yeah. In the United States, one of the big reasons I left was just like, you are not allowed to raise your own kids. Well, you are, as long as you're doing what everyone else is doing, as long as you're doing the accepted thing. But like, you try to homeschool your kids when they don't want you to, you're going to jail, you're getting fined, and I mean, even a lot of times you try to grow your own food. You try to do anything good for yourself. There are all these regulations that say you can't do it. Well, you have a lot more responsibility. Drive an insane car. Go for it because you built it. But would you trust someone else's car? That gets into a whole other conversation we don't need to get into right now.
You should stop live now.
All right. My daughter is correctly saying that I should shut up now. Well, she said I should stop the live now. All right, I'm gonna get out of here.
Bye.
And this has been excellent.
Bye, Cookie.
Thanks for coming. And next week, I'm gonna attempt to do this live on Jaimie Talks channel, which there should be a link to it down here. I'll probably do like 5 minutes on this channel just to remind people that I'm gonna start doing all my talking on Jaimie Talks channel, which I think will be good.
Hi.
That smile. Yeah, look at this kid.
Shut up.
You're still growing in your real teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, 10-year-olds are hilarious. They're all like, wow, look at my monster teeth. He's still coming in. Don't worry, they're straightening out. They looked a lot more crazy like a year ago. They're all coming in fine. Don't worry.
All right, shut up. Stop live.
All right, I'm shutting up. Okay, bye everyone. Have an excellent day. And okay, bye. Oh, and Lauren, I'm gonna look at the thing and see if I can fix it. The metal bender thing. Okay, bye. All right, I'm shutting up. Okay, I'm turning off. There it is.